welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our exclusive webinar on food safety management systems, HACCP-CCPs, and emergency plan. Our speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, who is Global IMS lead trainer auditor with over 35 years of experience, is ready to share his expertise, and we are excited to have him with us today. So now let's get started.
Good morning. Today I am discussing a very sensitive subject, which is Food Safety Management Certification, HACCP, and it is very much linked to the CCP, which is called Critical Control Points. And the main purpose of discussion is to get into the emergency preparedness and emergency plans. So first of all, let us understand the concepts. What are the concepts here? So let us look what is a food and how get into a and come out of the emergency situation and controls and correction action and corrective action. CA defines both correction action followed by corrective actions. All right. This I have discussed in number of webinars earlier. And now I always say we should understand the concept first before trying to understand anything, because unless you have a good foundation stone laid down for understanding the subject, all other thinking goes into a direction which is not required and which is not a desired direction. All right. And in our community of auditors and trainers, many of them who are listening today and will be listening n number of times later, they are into a traveling mode most of the times. All right. I have become an expert of hotel industry in my young days because I have spent 90% of my life into hotel, staying in hotels and eating in restaurants. That is what happens with most of the trainers and auditors. So it is very important to understand what is food. Anything which is going inside our body and add nutrition values is called food. One of the most risky things which we have been seeing for last 4 decades at least is water. Water is one of the ingredient which we consume maximum. And we as an auditor and trainers, when we were traveling, we were always making it sure that the drinking water which we have is safe, absolutely safe. So how do we ensure that this water we are drinking is safe? If it is unsafe, an emergency situation is created. I have seen many auditors and trainers asking the same questions derived out of EMS and OSAS, inserted into FSMS and HACCP audits, and even I would say FSSC 2000 certification. We are working towards that also, FSSC 22000, and soon we'll start auditing and certifying companies for that. All right. So how to see that we are going to consume safe water? That's what is the important. Then we get into food, vegetarian food, non-vegetarian food, all kinds of food, supplement foods are available to us. We get into consuming wrong type of a food, wrong kind of a food, maybe by mistake, by default, by fault, by giving company to somebody, we get into do different kind of other drinking habits which are unsafe. We hear into the news globally, millions of the drunkards die because of wrong kind of consumption of a unsafe drink, which may be soft drink, hard drink, whatever. Hard drink examples are very clear. So it's very important that we can control that, and correction and corrective actions are adequately inserted into our life, because life is important, so food is important, and the safety of food and not getting into emergency situations. If we get into, we take corrections and corrective actions, and we can improve upon our food safety management system. So that's the background. Anything which we are going to consume, if it is unsafe, an emergency situation is created and an emergency plan is required to take us into correction action and then corrective action. All right. So next important point is the training of all teams. When I say all teams, it is the client team, it is the trainers team, it is the auditors team to understand emergency plan, emergency preparedness. Review the documentation. What has been documented? It has been documented with respect to EMS and OSAS. For example, a company is going for IMS certification where EMS, OSAS, and FSMS are there. In that situation, more confusion and more doubts are created into the minds of clients, trainers, and auditors because the concepts are not clear. Okay, N is missing from here. Okay, it will be CU and CEPTA. Solid. We all do mistakes. That is why the emergency plans are required so that the emergencies are further controlled. The review the applicability of emergency preparedness. What is the kind of industry we are into? Applicability depends upon that. Then we need to review the products, the processes, before we are getting down into documentation and implementation of EP, emergency plan, emergency preparedness. And then we need to compare it with the requirement of the certification and standard. We have HACCP, one standard. We have got FSMS, ISO 22000 is another standard. We have got FSCC 22000, another standard, and the other food related standards are there. So what is the requirement of the standard? We need to study accordingly. All right. Then there are number of Factory Act related requirements in food industry. So emergency preparedness needs to take those elements into account and then work out the plan of emergency preparedness. Review the group related emergency plans as applicable. We are going to companies where, for example, we do not take the name of the company. There are companies where we go, they have got multiple sites, multiple units. One of the units or few of the units have got a EP in existence already. So now the next unit is going for certification. So they can always review the group related plan and they can take reference and guidance from that instead of coming out with a new plan. If it is a similar product process, they can take reference. If product process is different, come out with a new plan. Then there are company specific emergency preparedness. Every company has got its own way of working. I have seen many consultants, many trainers. I am very disturbed when I go to organizations and see copy paste things. That culture of company is different, their product processes are different. But my dear consultant XYZ have copied and pasted the XYZ company procedure plans checklist here. And they are not getting the desired results. And in fact, they fail at times. I'm sorry to say that many of the non-conformities we have raised in past are into emergency preparedness area of FSMS because most of it has been copy pasted and it has come from EMS or SaaS concepts, not focusing on to the company specific product specific requirement of the company. Then statutory and regulatory requirements. Every district, every state, every country, every the continental has got a specific statutory and regulatory requirement for various products and processes and service activities. Needs to review that and align it with our emergency preparedness plan. Then there are client specific requirements. There are final customer specific requirements. We see all this happening into the auditing situation when we get into the ground level. So we need to review that and align with the emergency preparedness requirements. Next, training of the teams. I have referred it in the introduction, but again, I put a lot of emphasis onto the training. If training is not done appropriately, people don't understand. In auditing, there's one topic where most of the clients get into a stuck in situation. Effectiveness of the training. We always ask questions. Training is done, but unless you check the effectiveness of that, what is the utility? So concept understanding, unless we check for the effectiveness of the training, unless we ensure that concepts are made clear, the training is not completed. They need to understand the applicability. We again get into the effectiveness. We again go to the feedback and ask them questions. Training done. Very good, Baba. Have you understood? Then what to audit needs to be understood. We get into emergency preparedness. audit situation of a client into internal, first party, second party, third party, fourth party, fifth party audit, whatever are there. I say fourth party, fifth party because their audits, they are named differently. There can be accreditation board audit, there can be, the Quality Council of India audit, there can be national body audits. So everybody should understand what to audit is very important. Take the help of checklists. It can be downloaded from various websites, but with respect to the process and product of the company, it should be aligned. Many MRs will give checklist to their team members, copied, pasted from here, downloaded from some Google map here, and they say, Baba, go and do the audit. Auditor does not understand what to audit because that checklist is not talking of their production process. They don't talk of their statutory regulatory requirements. They are not related to their factory head. They are not related to the board's requirement. They don't get aligned with the final customer or internal customer requirements. Then how to audit needs to be understood. You are a mechanical engineer by default, by mistake of somebody. You have gone to audit a Pepsi Cola company. I do not know what kind of a audit you will do unless until you have been qualified to conduct that kind of audit and you have the qualification for that. So how to audit needs to be understood. After you conduct the audit, what is the output? Output is report. Any audit will be respected or respected depending upon what kind of a report an auditor is preparing, generating, and submitting to the certification body team or internal audit MR coordinators team. So how to report that understanding as per 19,011 requirement, as per the certification body requirement, as per the respective accreditation board requirements needs to be understood very clearly so that a report is there to be studied by the teams whom it has been handed over and they take it for improvement of their food management system with respect to emergency prepared. Our focus should be emergency preparedness in case of FSMS, HACCP, FSCC, or other related food safety standard. All right. Then, final situation is implementation of emergency preparedness plan. Ask question from the implementers. Asking question is an art. I have discussed in last number of webinars. So ask questions from the implementers, but relevant questions. Most of the auditors don't understand what to ask as a relevant question. They will ask question left and right. We need to understand we are into emergency preparedness audit. Be focused there. Talk of language of theirs, mock drill, food safety losses, food hazards, hazardous condition of food, all those food safety team leader, what he had done for EP, how he had rung the bell, where is the switch to stop the process, what is the magnet checking if it is a rice manufacturing process, how to stop the metal part going, how to stop a bangle part going, if there is a bangle control policy in the company, if there is jewelry policy in the company. This is what is the question should be related to. Then every time review documentation, procedures and approvals. Approvals is very important. Some document copied pasted should not just be approved by the MR or the GM or the food safety team leader. Let us use our own intelligence and apply it with respect to what are the company products and processes. Align your documentation and procedure with respect to what is being manufactured, what is being processed. It is a cold drink manufacturing, or it is hard drink manufacturing, it is a beer manufacturing, it is a what? Barley manufacturing. It is a catering industry. We are into it. So all are interrelated. We are into a 5-star, 7-star hotel who are going for FSMS certification. We are looking at their emergency preparedness plan, which is going to be entirely different from manufacturing of Pepsi Cola company maybe. So then we review the internal audit reports of the emergency preparedness, what their teams have done earlier. Then review the external audit report, take feedback from that. Summary of the review report. A lot of things have been done in last 3 slides when we were getting into implementation. So somebody needs to prepare the summary and then somebody when he is going to audit, a auditor or lead auditor or with the support of a technical expert as required, see what kind of a summary has been prepared, a theoretical summary or a practical summary. The seasoned auditor, experienced auditor understand in 5 seconds if they look at summary, it has been cooked or it has been done or it is really meaningful for the organization. We can understand it in maybe sometimes 2 seconds. Okay. So we all need to develop ourselves to that kind of a situation. That is one of the idea of conducting these kind of webinars, that learning without limits. That's the theme of the TNV Academy training. Then performance monitoring of emergency preparedness plan or emergency preparedness situation. Everything, every activity. Sometimes I use the word thing because many of the learners do not understand high-tech languages. So sometimes I use the language of a layman, general person. But idea is to see the performance monitoring of this EP is done. What is the performance today? Everything has to be smart. I always say objectives have to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, target oriented, and tangible. So if EP is smart, performance monitoring will give results. Once this is done, so now the implementation part, monitoring everything is over. So now what happens? We get into analysis mode and future action plan. Unless we do that, entire process, whatever we have done so far, does not give results. Even if it gives results, we do not know whether the results are positive or negative. Many organizations spend hell lot of money into implementation of these processes, but they do not achieve what is the desired goal. Their money at times goes into the drain. We meet lot of top management today also, and they express their concern. Sir, we have spent so many millions of money into implementation of emergency preparedness plan into 25 units spread over 10 countries and 15 continents. But results are not what we expected. Our millions have gone into drain. So because they have not done this, they have not reviewed the EP objectives, they have not understood criteria, target charts, they have not involved small group activities and cross-functional team. I always say one person can do nothing unless it is a very small organization. 1 or 2% may be doing something better for their own self and for the company. But if it is a large set of organization, cross-functional teams are really need to be associated to achieve the desired and required goal as per the requirement of FSMS, HACCP, emergency preparedness plan. Monitor the process. We required effective monitoring. We find a lot of organizations lack here. They do not do effective monitoring. They prepare the system. They even conduct some mock drill, but they sleep over it. So we go and wake them up. Sometimes they themselves wake up. It's I do not know who wakes up how, but we all have a job to wake up each other so that they perform a good job into EP process. Then what happens? Internal audit of this entire process by competent and trained team so that the management system of these various standards of food safety with respect to emergency preparedness plans are becoming effective and we don't get into that food hazard situation which I discussed into the beginning. Then an effective conduct of management review with respect to the EP, objective EP plans, the results come out of the internal audit, there is a hard soft copy file, there are cards, there are NCs available into internal, external, first party, second party audit, whatever situation we are, and the team must be coming here with a plan to see that EP objective targets are achieved, and if achieved, go further. If not achieved, go into root cause analysis, get into correction action, get into corrective action. Earlier, we used to call preventive actions also. Sometimes even the organizations are using those words. We don't mind. Our target is to see that we get into implementation and monitor the further actions, and future is getting brighter and brighter with respect to the performance of emergency preparedness of food safety, various kind of standards, and ultimate goal of improvement is achieved. All these standards, all the life I would say for with respect to food safety It's focusing on PDCA, management principles, various supporting standards of food safety. They know this thing into learning, learn and learn more and more and bring more and more improvement. That is what is the aim of all these activities. Once all these understandings and all is done, then we get into the links of training and certification. We have got number of organization within TNV group of companies, TNV Academy. We are providing support from various industries. We have got various other team members who supports to our certification activities. And these websites, if you study, you will learn a lot, because all these websites gives you a number of opportunity to learn. And then you can ask questions going here, and you can come out with a lot of questions to our team members, and we will be happy to answer. So this is what I thought I will discuss with you. Just again quickly scroll through. These are the various concepts. These are the various requirements. These are various implementation plans. Keep your mind open. We are talking of food safety management system, emergency preparedness, anything going into body. It can be the air also sometimes. I have not said that, but it is a common understanding. I thought you will understand that. So all these are equally important to make our lives safe. Thank you very much. And this webinar will go on our TNV Academy YouTube channel. You can see, you can view it a number of times and ask us question and learn without limit. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you're welcome.
Yeah, I thank you all on behalf of TNV Academy. I'm sure our participants must have enjoyed the context of today's webinar too. That was it for this webinar. Thank you.